Hello everyone, and I hope you're all doing well. So today I thought I'd go over some current thoughts on Ethereum, where the price could be headed, some key levels I'm watching, and just like an overall look on the current situation of the market. So we're seeing some really interesting price action happening right now, especially on the higher time frames. And there are a few scenarios that could play out over the coming months. So in this video, I'll pretty much walk you through what I'm seeing on the charts and what I think could potentially happen next. So Ethereum is currently sitting at a pretty crucial point in the market structure. And on the higher time frames, we're seeing a long consolidation. So it is liquidity leaving the market and increasing macro uncertainty. The big question right now is Ethereum preparing for another move up, or are we headed into a deeper correction first? So in this video, I'm going to break down the key zones I'm watching, the macro situation affecting crypto, and where Ethereum's price could realistically be headed over the coming months. So first of all, let's talk about the current situation of the market. Right now, Ethereum is trading in a prolonged consolidation on the weekly time frame. So right now, Ethereum is trading in a prolonged consolidation on the weekly time frame. Price has been moving sideways for quite some time, and this is happening inside what we'd call the monthly fair value gap, or the FVG for short. And this kind of consolidation usually means the market is building up liquidity before the next major move. At the same time, we're seeing liquidity slowly leaving global markets. Risk assets like crypto and tech stocks tend to react strongly to this. And on top of this, geopolitical tensions and macroeconomic uncertainty are still weighing on the market. As you know, the war is still going on, and all of these things obviously have to be taken into consideration of the markets. In the environment right now, it's very sensitive, and that's why over the next few months, we could see some extremely important things for Ethereum. So when we zoom out and look at the bigger picture, there's another important thing to notice. Ethereum has been respecting a major trend line that has been forming since the 2022 market bottom. This trend line essentially represents a long-term recovery structure as the last bear market. So as long as Ethereum holds above this structure, the broader bullish trend technically remains intact. However, if macro pressure increases and liquidity continues to leave the market, we could see Ethereum test lower before the next expansion phase begins. So first, let's talk about the bearish scenario, because this is something traders need to prepare for. If global markets experience a strong correction, especially in equities, crypto will likely follow. In that case, Ethereum could move down towards $1,500 to $1,700 range, which would be around here. So it's pretty much the nearly the bottom of this candle right here. So it's roughly this top red line, as you can see. From a technical perspective, this zone does make a lot of sense. So within the current global market structure, rather seeing this as purely negative, it could actually present a strong buying opportunity, especially for investors looking at the long-term picture. And now let's talk about the bullish scenario. On the weekly chart, the key level to watch for is the fair value gap over the current price. This zone could act as a price magnet, meaning the market may move toward it as a part of the current correction. If Ethereum enters this fair value gap and doesn't face a strong rejection from sellers, that would signal that buyers are still in control. In that case, we could see a continuation of the broad uptrend and a push toward the next major key resistance level. One of the most important resistance areas I'm watching for are the $2,400 to $2,800 range, which is marked on my screen. It is this line. As you can see, it's just about 2,600, so it's just in the middle. So dipping just below and just above would be that range that I'm looking for. So it's kind of, say if I drew a box just to show you guys what I'm talking about. So we're looking at approximately this kind of range. This zone has historically acted as a strong supply area where sellers tend to step in. If Ethereum rallies into this region, it could be a logical place to take partial profits. And if we see bearish continuation there, such as a strong rejection or a shift in market structure, could also present opportunities for short positions. So looking further ahead toward the end of the year, the path could look something like this. A possible growth phase into the summer, followed by a strong correction if macro pressure increases, especially if global markets pull back. But after that correction, if central banks begin injecting liquidity again, risk assets like crypto could experience another powerful expansion phase. That's why the $1,500 to $1,700 range could become one of the most important accumulation zones if we see that scenario play out. So as of now, Ethereum is at a very interesting point in the market. So the key zones that I'm personally watching for are the $1,000 to $1,700 range for potential buying opportunities, and the 2,400 to 2,800 as a major resistance area, as we saw on the screen earlier on. The next big move will likely depend not just on crypto itself, but on the broader global economy and liquidity conditions. So I'd like to know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Ethereum goes higher first, or do we see a deeper correction before the next bull run? So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you haven't already, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on the upcoming videos. We have something very interesting planned. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.